Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Two Average Brownbros podcast. Today is Monday, March 29, 2021. How are you, Andreas?
I am doing great for Shang. How are you doing?
Good. How was your weekend? What'd you do this weekend?
This weekend was pretty chill, I would say. The regular gym, walking Sherlock, but then at the same time, I virtually hung out with friends and we just played games, which is always nice. And other than that, that was about it. What about you, Brishang? What did you get up to this weekend?
Not much. It was a little bit colder. I think it rained here, and so didn't do too much. Went for walks. As you know, Regina is under lockdown again because of COVID cases rising quite exponentially, I would say. It's the biggest jump we've seen in the last little while. Like this past week, there was like over average over like 100 cases or 150 cases just in Regina alone, right? Which is quite a lot. So
That is fair, and it's pretty concerning, especially because a lot of those are coming from variants, right? But welcome to like our daily numbers over here in Saskatoon, which we always see them over 150. So welcome to the club.
yeah, I mean it's scary, but hopefully the like we said last time, right? Hopefully the vaccines are on the way and this thing is over sooner rather than later, right?
Do we just have to wait until our age group becomes available and we're ready for it? Slowly starting to see the light, so that's always good. But besides that, kind of like what? How was your week last week? I know you said you might be busy at work. So how did that pan out?
Yeah, so I was supposed to go on the field to do some field work, but it didn't go well because so we had a field visit to Melville, but then due to unseen circumstances, the staff that was supposed to be there at the place I was supposed to go wasn't there, so then we had to cancel it. So, but I'm going this Thursday, so that's the plan for this week. Work has been busy, but sometimes slow, sometimes busy. But yeah, field visit is always nice. I was looking forward to it, so I'm looking forward to that this week. And what about you, Andres? How's work? How's Sherlock?
We're pretty good over here. You know, Sherlock doing his thing. Um, the other day I found him on top, not like just on the couch, but on top of the couch, which I was like, how did you get up there? And two, how is that even more comfortable than just being on the couch? So, that was very funny. The other day I kind of like teased him so that he will bark because I always like love when he just makes his little howl. Um, but work has been all right, have enough to keep me busy and keep me productive throughout the week. Uh, and outside of it, just been getting used to my new nutrition plan and going to the gym and yeah, just basically talking to a lot of people back home. But yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just readjusting to a little bit of a new nutrition plan, which hasn't been too bad, but still adjusting to the fact that I cannot eat that much carbs.
That's fair. That's one thing I need to learn from you going to the gym. The last time I went to the gym was so long ago, so you gotta teach me your ways, man.
You know what? I figured that if I pay someone to give me a routine or a program, then I go because I'm just like other. If I don't go, I'm just wasting my money. So something about having like paying another person makes you accountable because I found like paying for a membership, I will still sometimes not go. But paying a person to help you out, it does really add that accountability piece, and it kind of like for some reason doing that is just like you feel more of like, oh, I should probably take advantage of the money and put it into it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. For me, I pay for the gym membership, but well, I mean, right now COVID is an excuse, but even before COVID, I hadn't gone for a while, so need to get into that mindset, right?
Yeah, it's just like getting used to it. You know what they say, it takes 3 weeks to kind of like break a little bit out of the habit, but then it takes like I think around 3 months in order to make the habit stay. So it's just keeping pushing on that limits. But you know what? Once you get in there and like I find it like as long as you're doing something that you enjoy it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good segue into something you've learned in the last week.
All right, so something that I learned this past week. What? Oh, I learned a lot about kind of like not a lot, but I learned a certain like I would say a decent amount of kind of like trade routes around the world. Because as you know, I don't know if you read it, but there is a cargo ship stuck in the Suez Canal,
I
and
saw that.
yeah, so I was just like, okay, how bad is the situation? So I started looking into it, and then I started looking, okay, how does global trade work? Uh, I Now I understand why people are like, okay, we need to we need to get this boat moving, like we need to get it unstuck, because there's just little things that it looks so minimal, but like they're probably going to start having an impact pretty soon. And I was reading somewhere that it might be possible that even once again with the toilet paper, prices might go up for toilet paper because of like the raw material in order to make it, which like we're a year after, and once again toilet paper has become the center of attention in the news somehow.
It always comes back to the toilet paper, right?
Exactly. That TP, man, it just keeps on coming back. But that's something I learned, like kind of like how like the global trades work and kind of like the benefits of the canals, not only the Suez Canal, but also like the Panama Canal, which like I've been there and it was so cool to see, but now knowing kind of like how it operates and how it facilitates trade, it's more interesting now, as well as kind of like all the other trade routes around the world and what does that mean when it comes to importing and exporting, which I will admit it's pretty nerdy on my end, but anything that has to do with geography, I'm just like, okay, tell me more. I'm going to go into this rabbit hole for the next 5 hours. But pretty cool to know a little bit more how trade works. How about you, Roshan? What did you learn this week?
Yeah, that's actually really cool because sometimes I just wonder, like, when Neanderthals used to roam the earth, and you used to use like sticks and stones to build stuff, and now we have rocket ships or like canals to move giant boats across oceans. It's pretty neat to think how humans have evolved over the years, right?
Oh, absolutely. It is. I would say it is marvelous to see where we started and then where we're ending.
So for me, these days I've been watching Twitch a lot. For people that don't know, Twitch is like the streaming platform for like mostly games and things, that you can watch people do. So a lot of like gamers are on Twitch, or people that, react to memes, or like they do cooking, like live cooking shows and stuff, like normal people that stream. And I've been watching that a lot these days, which is pretty cool because you see so many people, like creative people, get paid to do what they're like good at. So like gamers will go on there, play games, and people watch, and there's always people watching and throughout the world. And it's pretty cool to see the different communities, because the most famous games that are being played on Twitch right now are like Grand Theft Auto roleplay. So that's like this roleplay servers, or like Among Us, when Among Us was big with you and me and our group of friends.
Oh yeah.
On Twitch, it's still like popping and alive. So it's pretty cool to see people play like on Discord and stuff. Just like anything you can think of, like gaming wise, people will be streaming it and like people watching it, which sometimes it like, makes me question. It's like people pay, or like, as a watcher or viewer, you can like donate to the streamer because that's their full-time job, right?
Yes.
And so like it's pretty crazy to think people, pay others to watch them play games. And some of the things on Twitch are pretty like sketchy, and they still get paid. But some of the cool things, like the gaming, honestly, I'm down for it. Like if I got paid to play games, I would do it too, right?
Oh, absolutely. There's times that I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should do this as a side hustle and like get into gaming. But then I was like, Andres, you barely play video games. You have consoles that you haven't touched in months. So then the thought goes away.
And that's the thing. It's not for many of these folks. It's not even like side hustles. They stream for like 12 hours plus. Like this one guy, he used to be a former competitive sports player. He's actually from Laval, Canada. His name is Felix Longley, XQC. He's pretty well known. He's a big time game streamer.
Okay.
And he's probably one of the biggest Twitch streamers right now, and he averages like 70,000 viewers no matter what time you watch him. Like whether it's like 4 in the morning or 4 at night, people are watching him constantly, And literally, so in the last week, I think he's pulled a 24-hour stream 3-4 times already.
Oh wow. Oh my God. Like already staring at a screen for that long, it's like tough on your eyes. So like just having the stamina to even do it for that long and actually being involved playing plus with engaging with your audience. Like kudos to them that they're able to do that.
Yeah, like I mean that's what they get paid for, but I don't think I could do 24-hour streams. Those are just crazy. Like literally he'll go on for 24 hours, go sleep for like 4 or 5 hours, and then come do another 24 hours. It's like actually insane. It blows my mind.
Yeah, that is insane. Like I couldn't. I'll probably, because I'm old now, I'll probably need like 48 hours to a week to recover from that.
Oh, same here. But the funny thing is, Felix, he's 25 years old, so literally a little bit younger than us.
I know. I make myself sound so old all the time, but realistically, I am not, but that's okay.
But yeah, so like honestly, if I wouldn't mind, streaming. Once I build a PC, maybe I will dab into it and see how it goes. But right now, video cards are expensive, so might have to wait for a year or two.
That is completely fair. And see, that's where my other thing lies, is that a lot of like, in order to be like good at gaming and things like that, you need a PC. And since I was in high school, I sold my soul to Apple. So there's no one's taking me back to PC unless I really have to. So that's another thing. It's just like my soul belongs to Apple.
No, honestly, I like Apple. They make their products really easy to use, and I'm slowly turning into Apple. Well, I mean, I go back and forth for my phones, but some of the things on Apple just are so easy, right?
They're pretty intuitive, which I'm pretty sure that's kind of like what their aim is, making it so accessible and intuitive that
I don't know if you can say accessible because it's like what, 1,500 for an iPhone or like 2,000 for a Mac, but definitely user friendly.
Yeah, true. That was kind of what I meant with accessibility, like how like being user friendly and being able, when like people have it, they like do have that accessibility features on them. But yeah, no, definitely like it is a cost to have them. I would say that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Rishang. Well, so now for this week, something that kind of like we've mentioned in our trailer and we bring up from time to time for the past episodes that we've done, it's travel and talking about our travel experiences. So this week, I kind of just want to touch a little bit based on kind of like what it is like to travel and explore different cultures. And I know we can go into this for a long time, but I think today I want to focus it a little bit more on what do you learn about traveling? Like when you go and explore a different place, what are you learning? What inspires and motivates you to travel?
For me, I like to eat, I like to travel, and like to learn.
Yeah.
So what do I mean by that? I mean, like, you know me pretty well. I love food. So whenever I go new places, one of my favorite things is to try local food. Like I don't always have favorites. Like, obviously everyone has favorite foods, but when I travel, I try to not like stick to one thing because I know so many people that just get like, French fries and like chicken tenders whenever they travel or wherever they go, right?
Yeah.
We all know one of those people. But so like eating is one of my favorite things when I travel, like just that, trying local foods, trying different flavors. It's like I've honestly tried so much food and I love it. And because like that's the thing, most people are like, oh, what if you don't like it? But then it's like, how do you know you don't like it if you haven't tried it, right? You only find that out after you try it. So, and if you don't like it, don't get it again, then you know. And then another thing I really like to do when I travel is making new connections, meeting new people.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I've traveled, whether it's by myself or with other people, one of the first things I do is like, because most of the time, like, when you're young, you are not forced, but you want to stay at hostels because they're way cheaper than hotels and you meet more people.
Yeah.
Especially in the last like 3-4 years, I've got so used to like just meeting people at hostels. I look forward to living at hostels.
Mm-hmm.
Some hostels are really like grimy and dirty, but most of the ones I've had pretty good experiences, and the people I've met and like connections I've made, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
And then lastly, it's honestly just learning new things. Like where no matter where you go, there's 7 billion people on the world on this earth, right? So like everyone has a different path, everyone has a different story. So just meeting new people and learning their culture, where they're from, how they're raised, about them, it gives you so much perspective on life. And like it's actually amazing, like because everyone has their own unique story, and you share yours, and some of the best some of the best people I've met is like through these travels when I stay at random hostels across the world, right?
Yeah. No, hostels are an incredible place to kind of like meet people, especially when you're traveling solo. I feel like if you're okay being by yourself and everything, there's still like it's nice because a lot of hostels would kind of like they would kind of have like a little bit of a like a restaurant, or they will have like a little bit of a bar in the ground level. Then you like even if you just go down for a beer after a long day of traveling, uh, even if you like there's some people that you can have some conversations, and then if you don't want to pursue that connection further, that's completely fine, but you like interacted with someone after like a day, but then like you said, like you can build relationships with those people afterwards, which is kind of like what I like about hostels. Like not gonna lie, some of them are a little bit like people whenever I don't know, there is this thing with the word hostel that people completely just put it on the like the extreme like definition of hostel that is just dirty and grindy and like oh my god, that is so cheap. But like same like as with you, the experiences I have with hostels, like they've been fantastic. Like I do my research ahead of time so that I will not get into the hostels that fit like everyone's kind of like vision of a hostel. But like the places I go, they're actually like like they're nice places. They're not bad, and especially like if I'm just gonna be there to spend the night and sleep and shower, that's what I need when I'm traveling.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
But that sounds pretty cool. So kind of like from all your travel repertoire, because I know that, but our audience doesn't know it. With like of your travel experience, what is kind of like what is like a takeaway that you've gotten like from like learning how to travel?
I think one of the biggest advice I can give anyone, who hasn't traveled or who are even seasonal travelers, solo traveling is not sad. It's like one of the best things you can do, especially like if you can't find anyone else willing to travel with you, or like everyone's busy, like as you get older, people have their own schedules and stuff. Like
Yep.
I did a solo travel, like I did a 6 weeks solo travel by myself a couple of years ago, and it was one of the best things I've ever done because everything's on your time. You get to do everything by yourself while also meeting other people. Now that's not to say traveling with other people isn't fun. It is fun, but the more people you have, the more mind you have to make happy. So and
Yes.
as with everything, you can't make everyone happy, right? So like I think the perfect travel size is 3 people. Like more than 3, it gets really hard to make everyone happy. Up to 3 is manageable, but
Hmm.
one, honestly, solo travel. I know people would be like, "Oh, that's so sad. He's traveling by himself," or like she's there by herself. But it's like, no, some people just like doing things by themselves, and you can learn so much about yourself and others when you travel by yourself. Like the first time I traveled by myself, I was so scared. Like I was scared so much, but like it
Yes.
made me grow past this like different shell of mine, where it's like forced me to do things that I wouldn't have normally done, right? If I was with other people that I knew, I never would have done those things, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying, and I went a little bit through the same experience as you did. Or like that just fear, and I think like with anything, like it's just the fear of trying something first for the very first time. But the sense, I don't know if you got that from like your first time traveling by yourself, but after I traveled for the first time by myself, I was just like, I love this. Like I enjoy the company of people when I'm traveling, especially like if I like I'm pretty picky with who I travel with. So I do enjoy their company. But after that first trip by myself, I'm just like, I'm all right. I'm more than okay doing this again. Like when can I repeat this? It was just such a nice feeling, and I just connected with myself. Like when I'm going on walks or just even having like my biggest fear was like going into a restaurant by myself. I was like, oh my god, people are gonna be like, he's such a loner. He's eating by himself. But honestly, like after I passed that kind of like that challenge, I was like, you know what, this felt pretty good. I treated myself to a nice dinner, uh, and I just want to do it again. So definitely, I would say an experience that people should try for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it is scary and unnerving at first, but after a while you get used to it, and you like, you love doing things by yourself, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How about you? What kind of advice would you give to other travelers?
I would say I know some people are spontaneous, so kudos to people that can be very spontaneous. But for me, I do my research and just gonna like I think that like if you have a little bit of those fears, for me it really like peaced my mind, like let my mind be at peace. Was doing some of the research, a little bit of kind of like planning ahead, but not entirely like not sticking to an itinerary. Like okay, this day I'm gonna do this or that, but more of a loose plan of like, okay, these days I want to hit this play, like these places, or maybe kind of like a general idea of what I want to do in the different places I'm visiting. So I'm doing my research, kind of like what is the best area, like for a hostel, where can I stay, right? Or which areas should in the middle of the night I shouldn't be going out by myself. So I do a little bit of that research so I feel peaceful and a little bit more calm. But I would say like doing a little bit of research ahead of time for your travel, it's always advantageous because then you are prepared once you get into the place. And I would say the other one is not skipping on any experiences. So for all the trips I've done by myself now, that's something I will recommend everyone is don't skip on on those experiences. Yeah, travel with a budget and everything, but give yourself that room that you can experience really, because I feel like through experiences you get to know and enjoy your trip a little bit more. So if you want to go wine tasting and that's a thing that is like the place you're visiting is known for, go ahead and do it. Like don't skip on that experience just for the fear like, oh, is it too pricey? Is it not too pricey? There's always different options on how to make those things work. So definitely go for the experiences because then your trip will be a lot more memorable. And that's kind of like some of the memories I hold closest when, like for each of the individual trips I've made is just the fact that I treated myself and the fact that I put myself out there and the experiences that I decided to take on.
Yeah, no. When you said that, it reminded me of something else too. But it's that just get lost in the place that you get to. Like like don't get like fully lost. Lost. Have like a phone on you,
Yes.
but like just get lost in the streets of wherever you go. Like the one time I went to Singapore, like I had my phone, but I just walked in any direction. Like obviously, like ahead of time, check where like the safe and unsafe parts are wherever you go. But like just walk. Go to the local markets, try the local food, meet the local people, ask them about their stories. Some of the coolest stories I've heard is from like old, grandmas and grandpas on the side of the road, just living their life. That's my favorite.
Oh, you learn so much from local people, and like sometimes they have the best. Like that's kind of like I don't like completely structure and plan my trips. Is it I like going to a local. Let's say like I stopped at like a souvenir store and I just asked the local like there, hey, where do you recommend me to go for dinner today? And then you just establish that conversation of kind of like what are you looking for, like what is the price range, so they give you a lot more information that you're like, okay, cool, let's go there. And some of those people know also the hidden gems, which now I'm so for like finding little hidden gems everywhere I go. And that is just basically by talking to people that you know that have lived there or they have traveled to that specific place and talking to the locals. Because sometimes hidden gems, they might not appear on TripAdvisor or your Google reviews or Google searches, but sometimes they just become the best thing that you came out of your trip. And it is just amazing and fantastic. And yeah, getting lost in the city, I would say kind of like what you're like, kind of like for me, what you meant is getting lost in like a little bit on the literal way, but also like in a figurative way. Like just immerse yourself in the city. You will get so much out of it.
Yeah, no, we're both on the same page. You know, the funny thing is we actually haven't traveled together.
I know, which is very crazy. And it's not because we haven't or like we haven't planned for it or wanted to do it. It's because we're adults now. Our work sometimes does not align. Or sometimes because we both like traveling, we're like on different pages of what we want to travel for. Which is every single time that we talk about it. Like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm busy. Or, hey, how about we go here? And it's like, how about we add another stop because I want to go there? And it's just like, adulthood just messes up with our travel plans. But I'm very excited. I don't know about you, Rishang, but I'm excited to travel with you.
I agree. We'll have to plan something sooner or later for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We either it's here and staying within the country or going abroad. I like excited for anything, especially like when we're like very like-minded in how we approach our trips. Because I gotta tell you, I've gone with friends, I've traveled with family, and some of those people I love them and I hold them dear to my heart. But man, don't put me again on the same trip as them.
Why is that?
Oh, well, first of all, like I'm the person that likes getting lost, right? So I'd be like, hey, how about we try this place? And then there's, of course, some of them are like, how about we keep it on a safer place? Or how about we just go here because it looks like it's like the food might be a little bit better. And I was like, no, but someone recommended us this place, so let's go try it. So, finding that compromise. And then other things for me when, if I'm like, and that like a lot of people travel for different reasons, right? Some of them travel just to kind of like just relax, chill, and literally just do nothing. And that's completely fine. I sometimes do that whenever I'm back home and we go to the resort areas or we go to the beach. That's what I like. Sometimes that's what I like doing, just staying, laying on the pool and doing nothing. But when I'm in a new place or traveling to different destinations, I like to like get as much as I can from my time there. And people starting their day past 10 in the morning, I just can't. I'm just like, okay, we are losing time here. Can we move faster? Or people not waking up on time or just being late to the time that we said. It's just, I'm not the most punctual person there is. And I have no shame on saying that I'm constantly late to things in my regular life. But when it comes to travel, I'm on time to wherever I need to go because I want to make most out of the time. And people that cannot do that, I would say they actually like frustrate me.
That's the same with me. Like, you have to be flexible when you're traveling, right? You can't, like, of course, you can have a plan, but if you're super rigid about everything, it's kind of hard to do that, especially when you have a group of people. So I'm not about that life.
Yeah, no. So, Prashank, talking about getting lost, is there any crazy story that you have that just like whenever I say crazy story, just pops immediately on your mind?
Crazy stories, I have lots. Like, we could go for hours, but I want to say the coolest thing I've ever done. One of the coolest things I've ever done was, like I've done lots of cool things, but the coolest things I did in the last couple of years was there's this hike in the Narrows in Zion National Park in Utah where you walk along the river in the canyon for like, I forget how long it is. I want to say it's like 30 something kilometers.
Okay.
but you walk along like the canyon bottom, and then you walk on the river. So you're supposed to go when it's like when the flow of the river is like small, because if it's high, you can't go. It's not safe.
Yeah.
I just checked it now. It's 26 kilometers long, and because you're walking on the river, and it took us 8 hours to go there all the way to the end and back. And that was one of the coolest hikes I've ever done, because it's not going up. Like, when you think of a hike, you're normally walking up, uphill.
Yeah.
But this one was literally on flat lands, sometimes over rocks and like these small hills, but like generally just through the water. And like you get to rent these waterproof boots, which aren't really waterproof, but they just help your feet stay a little bit warmer.
Yes.
And it's super cool because there's so many people passing you. You're walking with so many other people, but then, and it's not super hot like on like other hikes, which is pretty much in the sun or like you're sweating so hard. This one, you can literally, if you're so hot, you can put your bag down and just swim in the river for a bit. And I enjoyed that so much. So I'll save my crazy travel stories for the next episode.
Okay, that sounds. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure we have enough stories to, I don't know, fill more than a couple of episodes for sure.
What about you? What's your craziest or coolest story?
Two of them come up to mind. One is when I traveled to Costa Rica with my younger brother. And the other one that just like I found crazy is when I was in Europe. So I think I'll tell that one because that one's a little bit, it is scary, but at the same time crazy. What did I do that time? Oh yeah, so I was in Ljubljana, which is in Slovenia, and I was just there for the day. I'm walking around like this nice little small city, trying local foods and everything. But the way I planned it is like, okay, I get there in the morning, put my backpack in the lockers at the train station, and then tourist around, and then my train to Bratislava left in the middle of the night. So I'm just like, okay, perfect, we can time this good. When I get back into the train station, I didn't realize they will close it. Like there was a time that they will close the train station, so I barely made it to grab my backpack with all my belongings on it. Like, of course, I carry my passport and everything with me, but everything else that I had, I was like, okay, thank God. Otherwise, I will have lost my train. And I was like, I really needed to get to that train. So waited by the train station, which was a little bit on a sketchy part of Ljubljana. So and also it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I've been walking the entire day throughout the city. So I'm tired, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need to somewhat stay awake because when the train comes here, so nobody grabs my stuff. So then the train gets there, and I'm told by like the people that walk through the trains that they're repairing the tracks in between the route, the route was from Ljubljana to a city in Austria, and then I needed to do a transfer from that city in Austria, which I don't remember the name, and then get to Vienna, and then from Vienna do a transfer again and travel from Vienna to Bratislava. So it was already enough of a complicated route. And they're like, yeah, they're repairing or they're doing something in their rails. So you're going to get down on this station, then you're taking a bus that will take you to the other station, and then you're going to take a train there in order to get you to Austria. And I'm like, in this country, which I don't speak the language. I don't speak the language of Slovenia. And this person is trying to explain to me in English why do I need to do? So I was like, okay, sounds good. So thank God he came by a station before I had to take get off, which also this is like in the middle of the Nijbergshank. This is like 1-2 in the morning, and I'm traveling at night in order to make most of my time. So I'm barely like coming in and out of sleep. So I get off the train, and then I get on this bus, and I was like, okay, maybe there's more people in the bus. Rishank, it was the driver, another passenger, and me on that bus. I definitely felt like, oh my God, hopefully I make it to the train station. This is very sketchy. It was pitch dark out, like driving through the highways in Slovenia, pitch dark, forest. I was like, okay, I just gotta make it. And then finally I made it to the train station, took my other train, and I barely got any sleep because of all the transfers that I needed to pay attention to. So by the time I go to Vienna, I was just like, thank God I'm in Vienna. I know like the train from here to Bratislava is just one train. I don't have to think about it. And the train station in Vienna is gorgeous. So then I just kind of like just traveled, like made my way through the station. Of course, I needed something to eat because I hadn't eaten in the entire trip, like on that train ride. But I would say it was a crazy story. It was so scary at times because I didn't know if I will make it out of Slovenia.
Dang.
But it was good. I recommend like Ljubljana is so beautiful. I would say it's one of those hidden gems that people don't really pay attention to because everyone in Europe wants to go to the bigger cities. But Ljubljana definitely was a pretty good thing to do. But I think for now that's on the top 5 of my craziest stories. So later on we can get on the other 4.
We want to hear them all.
Absolutely, hands down. And that's the thing that comes with travel. Like you always have a story to tell. Even if you just go to the beach to just lay down, you have a story to tell. Either yours or someone did something in front of you. There's always something to tell about trips. And I think that's always a nice way to even just start a conversation with someone and getting to know someone, because someone's traveling style can really tell you a lot about the person without them knowing.
Oh, 100%. Like you said, like everyone has their travel style, and you just got to find the ones that you can relate to the most, right?
Absolutely, Brishang. For anyone, if anyone wants to share their stories with us, I think they can just send it our way on our DMs and we'll respond to you over there. But yeah, we want to hear kind of like what you do for traveling and what are some of those advices that you have. And then we'll talk about them in a future episode for sure. I think this is good, Brishang. I think, like we said, we were going to talk about travel and we're getting our foot in there. Just to wrap up a little bit this conversation, if you could go anywhere, like let's just forget about everything else. You can just go anywhere. You can repeat any place that you've gone. Where would you go and why?
One place I really want to go is like the Pacific Islands, right? So like Tuvalu, Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, because those places look amazing in photos. Like I know they're a little bit expensive for us because we're pretty far away.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to travel to those places because the beaches look beautiful, the people are so nice from there, and the food looks delicious. And I would just go there and live with the locals.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard of Yes Theory.
Yes.
But they went to, I believe it was Tuvalu for 3 days. And because the flight, I think, only goes there like every 3 days or something. So you literally can't come back if you're homesick for like 3 days, right? So I would love to just go live in Tuvalu for like 3-4 days.
That sounds pretty neat in the middle of the Pacific.
Scary and daunting, but I think that'd be so neat just to like get away from everything for like 3-4 days or even like a week. How cool would that be?
I think that would pretty damn awesome.
How about you? Where would you go if you could?
It's such a tough decision because I just want to go everywhere, which is a very cliche answer for someone who loves traveling. I would say for me, if I could just go wherever I want to go, right now, I would, and I'm talking slowly because I'm thinking on my mind, what would be that place? I've always wanted to go over to the Middle East. Like that's something that actually I want to go and kind of like learn more about their culture, their history. I always it's like there's so much to learn from that area that I will really like to explore the Middle East, like going to Egypt, going to Jordan, to Lebanon. I know like the situation is different over there right now, but I will like to explore a little bit more that part of the world and really, really engage in that culture, because a lot of it also for me is just like a lot of our like the Mexican culture does have roots on Middle Eastern culture because, history, like the Muslims and Arab Empire conquered Spain and then that become part of Spain and then Spain conquered us. So there's kind of like ties all the way down. Which once again, I'm a big nerd for history. But I would say that, like, because I do find like there's some ties between Mexican culture and some of our things to Arabic and like to Middle Eastern culture. So I would like to explore more of that.
There's so many places to go, but not enough time, right?
Or enough money.
Yeah, yep. That's probably bigger.
Yes, absolutely. But okay, let's wrap up this and move on to kind of like how we usually end. Let's start with Juber Shank.
This week, like I said earlier, I'm looking forward to going to the field and just being outside. I think the weather's gonna be really nice. It's gonna be raining on Tuesday, but other than that, it looks like double digits weather and sunny weather. So looking forward to that. And then it's April. It's already April. Can you believe it?
I can't. March literally flew by.
Yeah, we started this 3 weeks ago now, and
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, even though it's the third episode, it's the fourth one that it like the fourth thing that we release up. So yeah, that's wild.
Yep. What are you looking forward to this week?
So this week I'm looking forward to connecting with my family back home, and just because it is Holy Week and we do observe that. So, we start with Palm Sunday and then everything else that happens throughout Holy Week and then Good Friday and and then Saturday. And then finally it's Easter. So I'm looking forward to the end of Lent and I'm looking forward just to indulge in everything I give up for Lent. I was texting a friend and I was like, I'm ready for a McDouble with a side of chicken nuggets and probably like a ghost pepper McChicken.
That sounds so good right now.
I know, right? I'm just ready. I'm really looking forward to celebrating all of that with my family at a distance. But I'm ready for Lent to be over. It's almost been 40 days. So just the last push. But other than that, just enjoying. I got it cleared by my physio that I can start running again. So getting ready to go on a couple of runs outside, which I'm very excited because I haven't run in months. So it was good to get the green light from my physio.
That'll be a lot of fun. You can get out in the warm weather.
I know, right? Just like on the right time to go back into running outside. Basically looking forward to kind of like what April is going to bring. Not looking over to April 1st. Please don't play me any pranks. If you're gonna do something, please be safe.
Anyway, that's all for today's show. Thanks for tuning in as always. If you have any questions, comments, you can reach out to us at the 2 Average Brown Bros podcast.
Or you can just slide into our DMs, literally, like our official like podcast DMs, or if you would, you can slide into Grishank's or ours. So we're always there. You can reach out. If you have any suggestions, if you want to hear us talk about a specific topic and you're interested in our point of view, we're more than ready to do it because if anything, we do love giving our opinions to others. So slide into our DMs for that. But if not, catch us here next Monday with another topic, but still the same point of view from 2 brown bros.
Yep, exactly, Andres, you nailed it. Our DMs are always open, and just let us know if you have anything you want to add. Or, like Andres said earlier, if you want to send us a voice message regarding your crazy travel stories or travel tips, send it our way, and we'll put it on the next episode.
Absolutely. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you all next Monday. But other than that, keep it safe and enjoy life.
See ya.
Bye.